Welcome back to my channel, everybody. And if you're new, hey, what's up? It's good. Today is going to be kind of like a freshers advice kind of video. This is the video that I've been putting off for so long. I don't really know why, but whatever, that's not the point. That's not what we're focusing on. So, I don't know exactly how I'm going to start this. Like, it's really, this is done charging. I don't know how I'm going to start this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I didn't really plan it out. But I just know that there's a couple of things that I want to talk about, and there's a few friends who are asked if they wanted to like answer some of the questions that I'm going to answer myself, so I could give you like multiple perspectives to the questions and stuff. It's not supposed to be like a scary video or whatever. It's just supposed to be like a video to like help out new people or help out people who are still struggling, or you know, just a safe space to talk about university. So if you guys also want to answer the questions or talk about something you feel like isn't spoken about a lot, you can do so in the comments down below. I'll interact with you too, and hopefully we'll all just interact together and make it like a safe university space. Okay, so the first question is, how was your first week? Mine was really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard. I come from like a private school, so there weren't even more than 30 people in my class. I don't think in J I've ever had more than 30 people in my class. So I'm used to like really confined small classrooms. So my first week was really hard because it was just massive, man. As majority of you know, I went to the University of Pretoria, so like it's really big. Like it's a beautiful campus, but it's humongous. So it was a really stressful week because my orientation week wasn't really that detailed, wasn't really that organized, if I could say so myself. So it wasn't really helpful at all. So if your orientation week is like helpful, or even if in J you know someone else who's like close to you and their orientation week seems more useful, go with them, I would say, if you can. But yeah, so go to orientation week and stuff, because honestly that first week is so hard if you're not used to that kind of environment, and it's just very stressful. And I wanted out, but like the second day I was just like, do I have to do this? Like maybe I made a mistake, like maybe this is not it. So yeah, it was very stressful. So try minimize that as much as you can. Maybe go to campus before you start, or like I'm saying, go to orientation week, or just, I don't know, try to minimize the heaviness of it all, because it's going to like crash down on you, because wow, there's a lot of people there. The change from high school to university, does it prepare you? No, personally I would say not. You really notice that by like halfway through first year, that it's just, what was the reason, man? Like what was the reason? Like they don't build you up for anything. And like I said, I come from a private school, and they really think that they're like the top dogs, and they really think they're so fancy and so cool, and they really think that they prepare you, but they don't either. Like it's all a lie. They don't. Like don't let them fool you. It's nothing. Like it's not the same. It's just, it's not even remotely, you know. University is just a different space. It's different people, different atmosphere, different people coming together, because in school you're all like in a cube, you're like in a safe space, in a little safe spot. And when you go to varsity, it's not, the safe place is gone. Everything, days are different. I don't care if you're like you have the same modules every Monday, but then it's not going to be the same Monday every single Monday. With school, you're guaranteed that every single Monday is going to be exactly the same. You know, okay, it might be different because one or your papa more in the one day than the other, but like otherwise, same people, same everything, same structure. Somehow in university it just doesn't work like that. Like you don't have the same days. Like days really genuinely change every single day, so you're never really prepared for what's going to happen in that day. And then just the atmosphere and the vibe, and getting lost in the goodness of it all, it's just different. Like I don't know if I'm like, I don't think I'm explaining it perfectly enough, but like I don't think there is a perfect way to describe it. But yeah, man, the point is just that it's not the same, babes. It's really not the same. It's not the same at all. And there's just, I don't think there's anything that could prepare you for it. it really just slaps you in the face, and like you just gotta stick through it. Like,
I personally don't think that high school prepares you for university. These are two different environments in such a way that in high school, you're probably in a class of 40 or less, depending on whether the school is private or not. And then moving on to varsity, where there's like 700 people in a lecture hall. In high school, for example, if Tabiso was to struggle, man would notice that Tabiso is struggling and help Tabiso. But in high school, in varsity, what happens is that Tabiso is just a number, firstly, and the lecturer will never notice whether Tabiso is struggling or not. Tabiso is the one who has to go to the lecturer and seek help by consulting. So it really doesn't, man. And even in high school, you're constantly reminded about the deadlines of your assignment. Also in varsity, but in varsity, nobody cares if you don't submit your assignment. Nobody cares if you're failing. You're the one who has to take initiative and put in some responsibility and actually get your assignments done on time. Totally different things.
I wouldn't say it should scare you that it's different. I really don't think it should scare you. It should really like rather excite you. You know, your mindset really controls everything in the world. Like, I genuinely believe in mind over matter. Like, whatever you're thinking about in your mind, whatever you're bringing into fruition, but whatever in your mind is going to happen. So when it slaps you, don't slap it back, but in the babes.
The jump from high school to university is definitely a huge one. I mean, university is bigger, it's more overwhelming, it's intimidating. Listen, and you're on your own, literally, you're on your own. But I wouldn't say that I was not prepared for it. I feel like high school has somewhat done a bit of preparation, especially in terms of the management of workload. I mean, in high school, the higher you go with the grades, you know that the workload is bound to increase, you know. So me getting out of high school into university, I wasn't expecting any less. I knew that the workload was going to be way more than what I know. And I was ready for that, you know. And also in terms of one finding themselves, I personally have found myself in high school. I knew getting from one class to the other what I liked and what I didn't like, you know. I knew what's for me and what's not. So hence I was able to make informed decisions on what I want to pursue in university, and I'm happy now. I mean, the syllabus was useless, don't get me wrong. I don't know the things we did in maths, especially Pythagoras. We're not doing any of those things in life now. I'm not applying it a single day in my life ever since I stepped out of high school. But yeah, man, I guess it's just part of the process, and I just trust it.
What do I wish I knew? I feel like when I wrote that question I knew the answer, but now I don't. What do I wish I knew? What do I wish I knew? Wow, dog, I don't know how to answer this question. What I wish I knew. Life is bigger than high school. Life is bigger than you. You are not the center of the world, actually. And I know it sounds rude and it sounds harsh, but it's a thing of when you're in high school, you're in that bubble that I was speaking of. And in that bubble, it's just you. It's just you and your day-to-day, ordinary, same life. Go to school. I'm going to say mine, obviously. Go to school, come back, eat, will change, eat, bath, watch TV, repeat, unless it's a weekend or whatever. But basically, you know, that's the basis of your life, and life is bigger than that. I'd highly recommend not living at home, because you really find yourself even more, you know. I just really wish I knew how much bigger the world was. You still don't see the whole of the world, like I'm saying. I'm realizing that now, but you see much more of it. Like, generally nothing can prepare you for it, but it's such a beautiful roller coaster. Maybe balance. I wish I knew how to balance everything, because I had to learn how to balance everything as it went. Everything changes. You can't use the same study techniques. You're going to learn that as well. You can't, whatever you did in high school, you have to let it go, because like I'm saying, it's a completely different platform, it's a completely different wavelength. Like, everything is, it's different. It is different. Like, I'm not a changed person, and I'm sure there's some people watching this who aren't changed people either, and you have to roll with the punches. You really have to roll with the punches, and you need to accept change, and you need to adapt to it really quickly. Yeah.
Hey guys, one thing I wish I knew before I entered varsity was that it is a completely different playing field from high school. Everything is different, your independence is different, so it's very important to know how to adapt. For example, get into a lot of group chats that start, the academic group chats, so that you're not left behind with all the information. You will miss things along the way, so it's very important to have people who are up to date and who can always update you on the information. And then always also just get out there and make sure that you guys communicate and connect with people as much as possible. Varsity is not a one-man journey. You need to be able to connect with other people because they make your university experience more wholesome and just more enjoyable. Just be extroverted and try your best to make connections with people, and best of luck to you guys.
How has it affected you? I think it's built me as a person. It's made me I don't want to say like a better person, just more of myself than I ever have been, you know. And it really makes you see who's really there for you and who are your actual people in life, you know. Who are your people, who you want to surround yourself with, who you are, who they are, and who they make you, and what you're making of yourself and, well, myself and the world. So I think it really shaped me, and it affected me for the better, I would say. I'm really happy I went. I really am. Like, I hate school, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hated high school. I didn't hate varsity because I actually really love psychology, but like, I didn't enjoy going to school because I don't like school. Like, I don't like the concept of school at all. It's really tedious, if you ask me. But I loved university. I never sat after high school and thought about high school. I never thought about how I missed high school. I knew I was never going to miss it, and I still do not to this day. Not a single thing. The people that I saw, yeah, sure, but I mean, I can call them if I wanted to. I could video call them if I wanted to, you know. So there's nothing about school that I actually miss at all. But with university, there's so much I'm going to miss. Living by myself, my friends, the environment, the space. Like, I get tired of Hatfield, and sometimes when I came back for recess, I wouldn't want to go back. But there's just something about that space and that vibe and being completely surrounded by people who are exactly like you but not like you at all. Like, it's unexplainable. It's just something you have to go through to understand and to either love or hate. But it definitely affected me in like a major way. Pressure from the institution and your genuine feelings towards it. I hated that phrase, flyer GP. Hated it. I would bash it almost on a daily basis. And almost on a daily basis, I'd be like, I'm crawling, or I'd say I'm a chicken, or I'd say I'm an ostrich, you know, implying that I cannot fly. Say that I'm crawling through the finish line. But I did it. I flew. Okay. Fly stands for finish line is yours. And the finish line is definitely mine because May 5th. But it's difficult. I don't want to lie. It's probably the most difficult 3 years I've had in my life. Matric. Guys, I barely studied. This girl also says so all the time, that I barely studied. Like, I watched a lot of TV, guys, in matric. And I don't want to just say matric, I'm just saying matric because I need to. That's when you're supposed to like step up your game and study the most. And guys, do you guys know Westworld? You know Westworld is like an hour every episode. I used to watch that show. I was drinking water. There's not a show on earth I did not watch in matric. Like, I didn't change anything in matric. Grade 10, 11, 12, nothing changed about me. I watched TV majority of the time. My mom would come home and be like, Mbalance, did you study? And like, either I did or I didn't, or like I didn't care. Like, I got through school studying the day before my papers, which is weird because in school sometimes you have back to back exams. But I did it and I made it well. So you know, I just wasn't a study person. So I don't remember what was the point of telling you that. Let me read the question again. I don't remember what was the point of telling you that. Oh, so varsity is harder because you can't do that. Honey, you can't do that. You cannot study the day before. I don't care how easy that paper. Okay, I'm lying. Because maybe I should make a story time of all the times I messed up tests and exams. I'm actually going to do that. I'll make a story time on it, honeys. But anyway. Most of the times. No, let me give you guys good advice. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not like you can't do it. Like varsity is just, the pressure is insurmountable, man. It's heavy and it's a lot, and you want to fly, but then you have pressure of maybe not flying or not doing it in record time, or there's just so many pressures. And like for me, my mom was paying, so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to mess it up for her. I don't want to do this. And then you'd have a breakdown and you're like, why am I crying? And you're staring at these books and you're like, dog, time is running out, I need to study, why am I crying? And I call my brother and I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's just like, dude, Paula, like, breathe a little. Just let me hear you breathe. Wipe those tears and breathe, And you have to build yourself back from a breakdown. And I'd call my mom a breakdown and she'd be like, buddy, this is not what I want. Like, my mom has never been more supportive in my life. Honestly, never been. Like, I get a sup and I'm crying. I'm beside myself because, oh my gosh, this is not what I wanted. I don't want a sup, whatever. And she's like, dude, I just want you to be alive. I just want my daughter alive. I don't want you to think the pressure of university is the end of the world, and it's not. It's actually really not, guys. It's not, and she talked me down, and I will not lie, her support was like the greatest thing in the world, because in school she was so strict. English was like my best subject. So let's say I got a C because I was like an A or B for English. Let's say I got a C for English. She would be so mad. I would be shaking in my boots to tell her that I got a C. But like, I got a sub. And she's like, it's okay. And I was like, no, it's not. But anyway. So the pressure it's a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna make up a fairy tale. The pressure is a lot. You get pressure from yourself, pressure from the institution. And not like the institution is forcing you to do good. It's just the fact of the institution itself is hard. And they don't make it easy for you. That's why I was saying I was always dissing the fly thing. Because I was like, you don't want me to fly. Like, why are you so hard? Why do you have to make everything so hard? Like, psychology is hundreds and hundreds of pages to study. I have law friends who had way more than my hundreds of pages to study, and it's like, do you genuinely not want me to get this degree? Like, what is the reason? What is the fly goopy, fly ganja? You're not letting me fly, so it's not like the institution actually packs on pressure. It's just the way they make their syllabus. It's just like, it seems impossible, but it's not. I promise you it's not. My best memory. My best memory. My best memory. I generally don't know if I have one. Okay, that's a lie. I just can't think on the spot. I really should have written down my own answers. What is my best memory? I remember, it's gonna sound very corny. Even though it's my core, psychology was always my hardest. Always my hardest. Always my hardest. I want to be a clinical psychologist. I love it with my whole heart. So third year, first semester was like the clinical part. It was like abnormal psychology. And all the diagnoses and everything. And for my first semester test, with my golden lecturer who I adore. If the tweets aren't that bad, I will put them on the page on the screen so you can see how much I adore that man. He is like my psychological idol. I love him. I love him. I love him. I love him. If I could be the half the psychologist he is, I would cry, guys. That man is brilliant. He's the greatest psychologist I've come across in my whole 3 years. Like, he's phenomenal, and he's a clinical psychologist, and he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. There's not a person I've seen sit through his class and not love him. I've never seen a psychology class that full in my life. Like, he is brilliant. So anyway, my first semester test for 3rd year, I got 83%. That was the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. I think that was my best memory. It's so corny and it's so stupid, and for people who got those marks all the time, it's even more like for them, but like I did not. And the fact that the first time I got it was for what I really love and what I know I love, it just reassured to me that I want to be a clinical psychologist. Like, he reassured me every single time I went into his class. But just that mark, I looked at it and I couldn't believe it. I've never been like that excited in my life. I was like, are you joking? It was amazing. It was amazing. So that must be my best memory.
Yeah, guys, so my best varsity memory was back in 1st year, actually, when I did not write exams because you get promoted all modules. Guys, that was the best. Like, it was the best feeling in the world, because I've been writing exams all my life, and now I get to varsity, and wow, now life is good. I don't have to write exams. Yeah, no, it was because I promoted, so I didn't have to write any of my exams.
One reason why it's worth it. It's a beautiful experience. Besides the pressure and besides the breakdowns and besides varsity itself, everything outside of varsity, like that experience. Okay, in case you don't, like, I think that was a good enough explanation. Why am I doubting myself? Like, everything that's not varsity related, like no tests, no exams, but the environment of like being in Hatfield for me. And you see, that's my one. So when I Bramfontein, what's the place called in Cape Town? Leondale. Yes, that. It's like I need a more solid job so I can move out, so that I can be in my own space, because it's beautiful. It's amazing. That's why I said I would recommend that you don't live at home. It's amazing. It's such a beautiful experience. I love it. I wouldn't replace it for, like, it was amazing. Okay, 3rd year I didn't do much. 3rd year I was very mellow into myself, and 2019 was just not a good year for me, if I'm being honest. I went through a lot, like mentally and personally. I was just going through a lot in 2019. So by 2019 I didn't do much, but 1st and 2nd year I don't regret it. I think that's why I don't, like, besides the fact that I was going through a lot, like, I don't mind that I was just such a at-home bug, like at home as in my accommodation. But anyway, 1st and 2nd was just, I lived, and I'm happy that I did. And it wasn't anything crazy, it wasn't anything wild. I'm nobody's baby mama, so like, it was great, it was amazing. But I loved it. So that's what's worth it, that experience. Which is wild, because there's some people who Mali, because they go to Hatfield and they go to that institution, they go Hatfield just for the vibes. And I'm like, you're putting yourself through university just for the vibes. So clearly I'm not lying, because some people do it just for the vibes. The vibes are amazing. Best advice to pick yourself up: you're not a failure. Your mama or your father or yourself or your gran or your smang did not raise a quitter. You gotta pick yourself up sometimes. Like, it's okay to have the breakdown and accept it. Don't like try to stop it, accept it. Be by yourself and have it. And then either when you're done or you're feeling like, okay, now it's too much, call someone. Definitely, like I said, I called my brother or my mom. You have to call someone and you have to talk to them. Even if you're talking while you're crying, it's okay. I know you're gonna feel like you're gonna scare the person, but if it's a person who's close enough to you, first of all, they'll be able to hear what you're saying, and they'll talk you down, and they'll bring you back to peace and back to serenity. And if you don't have anyone to call, then go to, I hope they're reliable, but go to the psychologist on campus and speak to them. I know that's gonna have to take the next day, but then that's why I'm like, try and build yourself, you know. Only say positive things, only think positive things of yourself, you know. Just even if like you have to study, step away and go breathe. Take an hour if you need to, just breathe and talk to yourself and reassure yourself. Reassurance is always the best way. Just reassure yourself and tell yourself that you are the best. You are not a failure. Like, don't think about, oh, I'm gonna whatever percent. That's not what's important. Whatever the breakdown is centered around, I don't care. But you are phenomenal, and you are amazing, and you are in the position that you're in because you worked to be there, and you did your gosh damn best, and you're going to continue doing your gosh damn best. And that is that, honey.
So my name is Sims, and I'm just here to briefly speak about being on the verge of a breakdown, just feeling down and out, and what it entails. I think the first thing is that it's important to realize that a breakdown is a normal part of everyday life. Think of it more as a detour or like a reboot system after the pressure, that it's so normal. But another thing to avoid or minimize the chances of possible breakdown in the future is to realize what it is that triggers you, so that you can alleviate the pressure and avoid another breakdown in future. But to break down is not uncommon. It sounds scary. It sounds like it may feel like you're on the verge of losing your mind, but it's absolutely normal. It's the brain's way of reminding you that you are human and that you do need to cope and figure out what it is that triggers you.
Okay, that's it from me. That's it from my friends. Unless I have other people who are answering questions that weren't over there, then I'll put it in now.
Hi guys, Dango here. My two questions were how I knew I wanted to change courses and how I gained the courage to do it. How I knew I wanted to change courses was that I wasn't really happy in the course that I was doing before, and I looked at different courses and I thought I would be happier. And how I gained the courage to do it was that my family was really supporting in the choices that I wanted to make, and it made it a whole lot easier because I had people that were supporting me. The same people that I would look to for help were the very same people that helped me, and that's how I gained the courage to do it, and that's how I switched courses. Thanks.
Off campus, that's when, it's real. The freedom, it's very, very free. There's a lot of freedom, and it's very important that you set boundaries within that freedom. A lot of the times you just see people getting lost in the sauce because they don't know how to control that freedom. Maybe it's because they were them goody two shoes back in high school, and now they can taste the freedom and they don't know what to do. Or you've been a rebel since day one, you know what to do. It's just that now you have a lot more freedom, but it's very important that you manage that. You need to be responsible with yourself and your time and your actions, because you don't want to get lost in the sauce where you're grooving more than you're hitting the books. You get what I'm saying? So familiarize yourselves, okay, and be responsible with your freedom. It's very important as well that you are very kind to yourself, because university, the transition between university and high school is very, very different. No one's babying you. You're not wearing uniform. There's not a set time that you have to be up every day. There's no register, none of that stuff. So it's all on you, and that's going to be stressful. But with that being said, you need to be very kind to yourself and understand that, okay, this is new, this is an adjustment, I can do it.
But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helps you. I really hope this motivates you. And read the Freshers' advice on Twitter. Some of them are jokes. I hope you can see through the jokes. They're jokes. Some of them are real. Some of them are scary. But some of them are helpful. And some people are really there to help you. just be able to see the real from the fakes. I hope you can. Aula is a building. ClickUp is a thing on the internet, so you check your marks and what to do. This is UP people. Don't believe them. That's why I say check your freshers advice, because some people are real, some people tell you real things, okay, and some people tell you that they'll help you with directions and whatever, and DMs are open, so take advantage of all that stuff. When I was in first year, I didn't find any of that, only found it in second. But Oxalayo, yo sis, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope this was helpful. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Comment down below whatever you want to. It's a safe space. If someone says something negative, I will delete it, don't you worry. No negativity down there. Thank you so much. Oh,
What a joke, my darling.
And I'll see you next week. Bye.